gaming. The latest biggest topic for our channel and pretty much the gaming sphere around, besides the Game of the Year nominees, has been the Steam Machine and the Steam Frame and the new Steam controller that were announced by Valve. About 2 weeks ago when it was announced, I went a little bit against the grain. I saw all the red flags ahead of time, and I kind of, went on record and I said, hey, this Steam Machine thing, it may not be at the price point. It may not be for that widespread audience. And this seems to be more in line with what Valve was doing with the Steam Deck as far as who is the audience that you're trying to reach. But I caught a lot of flack. I caught a lot of haters out there and gamers out there and Steam fans out there who really thought that this was going to be the new console or the new PC alternative. But the more that Steam keeps sounding off on the Steam Machine, the more and more expensive it seems to be getting. This leads me to the latest and greatest Kotaku article by our resident anti-Trump fanboy Ethan Gatch over on Kotaku. And the article's name, as you can see here in the title, is "The Steam Machine Keeps Sounding More and More Expensive." And I mean, hell, it just does. Every time we get a new stance from Valve, a new comment from Valve, it gets more and more expensive. It doesn't sound like this thing is going to be $5, $6, hell, it doesn't sound like it's going to be $700. It sounds more like it's going to be $800 and up, according to Valve. So let's read here this article from Kotaku. Ethan Gatch writes this article. It says, Valve hasn't officially announced the price of its upcoming Steam Machine console. Maybe even CEO Gabe Newell doesn't know how much the company will eventually decide to charge. But that hasn't stopped a drip feed of quote and speculation from pointing toward the higher end of the pricing spectrum. The company recently confirmed that it won't be subsidizing the device, seemingly squashing any chance of it being less than a PlayStation 5 Pro. Now, that's important to compare to a PS5 Pro. Why, you might ask, if this is supposed to be a PC? Well, this PC alternative is weaker for gaming than a PS5 Pro, which means it's also weaker than an Xbox Series X. Let's continue. That was the sense we got from comments Valve made back when the Steam machines first released. Despite an emphasis on affordability, in quotes, the company was also quick to confirm that consoles would be very competitive with the PC. You could build yourself from parts, but also closer to the entry level of the PC space than what some fans might be expecting. Last week, Linus Tech Tips YouTube channel, Linus Gabriel Sebastian, confirmed that he asked Valve directly if the smaller storage Steam machine would be in line with the current $500 console. And I quote, "Nobody said anything, but the energy of the room wasn't great," he said. The scales have now tipped even further away from that price point in an interview Valve did with gaming channel Skill Up. YouTuber Ralph Panabianco asked point blank if the company would use proceeds from Steam to make the hardware cheaper than it costs to manufacture. Want to know what the answer is, guys? No. Software engineer Pierre-Luc Graffet said, "It's more in line with what you might expect from the current PC market. Obviously, our goal is for it to be a good deal at that level of PC performance. It's not been uncommon in the past for console makers to underprice hardware in order to grow their install base and make more money off of selling more games and servers in the back end. As the biggest PC gaming store around, Valve has billions of dollars in profits, and it could, through at gaining market share, in a potential console war. It sounds like that's not what the company has planned, however. No subsidies is basically the final nail in the coffin for any hope that Steam Machine will be priced to compete directly with the Switch 2, PS5, or here's Ethan Gatch's favorite quote, pre-tariff, Xbox Series X. Some fans are still hoping for a 512 gigabyte model might come in between $600 and $700, which would put it around the current price of a 1 terabyte Steam Deck OLED. Let me tell you right now, guys and gals, that is not what is going to happen according to all of Valve's quotes. This thing is priced more expensively. It is using bigger parts, 6 times more powerful than a Steam Deck. It's not going to be priced accordingly to a Steam Deck, even if it is the OLED model. Kotaku continues, even that seems overly optimistic, especially with recent reports that AI arms race is about to push PC components even higher. Next-gen consoles, which all rely on the same chipset, will be facing similar pressures. We'll see how it all shakes out when Valve reveals the Steam Machine price early next year. Who knows? Maybe the PlayStation 6 and the next Xbox, codename Xbox Magnus, won't be anywhere close to $500 either. Alright, so here's my hot take, guys. Here's my hot take on all of that. The next generation console from PlayStation and Xbox will be priced higher than $500. There's no question about that. Hell, the current Xbox Series X is going for $749, give or take. And the PlayStation Pro, after you add a disc drive, is about at the same price. It's not looking well for next generation. Now, Sony did say they were going on the Nintendo route when it comes to upscaling using AI. That may bring their prices closer to that $500 to $600 range. And again, the difference between consoles and PC is that the console manufacturers are willing to take a hit on that PC price up front when they can make their prices back on the end of controllers, accessories, and games. Valve is not looking at that. The more we look at their announcements, the more we look at every comment they make, this thing is coming out at the baseline 512 gigabyte model is looking at it's going to be around $800. And then the 2 terabyte model, that thing cannot be cheaper than $1,000. When it gets to that range for a PC that is weaker than a PS5, you might want to wait for the Xbox Magnus, codename Magnus, that might be in that same price range, but the difference being that Microsoft is willing to take a console price hit for the manufacturing costs in order to get this thing in your living room, whereas Valve just doesn't seem like they are going to go that route. As always, I want to thank you guys for joining me here on the channel. If I've earned your subscription, hit that like button. If not, hit that dislike button. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you guys think of the latest rant from Kotaku here, Mr. Ethan Gatch. As always, I want to, thank you guys for joining us, and we will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.